Good afternoon, Ms. Bridgewater. I hope you're doing well this afternoon.
I am, Your Honor. I hope you are as well.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. The SAP reset date,
It's June the 18th.
June the 18th. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Judge, we're getting them out now. How you doing, sir?
Doing well, Norris. I hope you are as well. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Give me about 1 minute.
Okay, just let me know when you're ready.
All right.
We're ready, Your Honor, in quorum two.
Okay, thank you. Let me address everyone as a group. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. If there's anyone that does not want to have their case heard by video, please let me know when you come before me. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. If you do not have a private attorney, we are providing you with the assistance of a public defender today if you choose to utilize their services. Who do we have first?
We can go with position number 20, Ms. Watson.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Watson. You've been charged in case 24 CR 003376 with battery. If you are on the line with me this afternoon, I'm happy to have you here, but please mute yourself if you're not actively speaking with me as we're getting some feedback. So who's ever on the iPhone, if you can mute yourself, and anyone else who's not speaking and it's not muted. Good afternoon, Mr. Howard. Is there a history?
No, 17 years old.
Mr. Walker, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I'm sorry. 1 second. What? Okay, hold on. My computer just froze. One second, Your Honor. Okay, we're going to get the same report.
Mr. Cook, you might want to log out and log back on because everybody else can we send Mr. Cook a message if he can't hear us?
Okay, I'm ready, Your Honor. I'm sorry about that. Law enforcement was
Okay.
dispatched to
Hold on, one second. I'm sorry. I just want to make sure that I have someone here representing Ms. Watson. Who's representing Ms. Watson this afternoon? Ms. Kim? Okay, all right, very good. Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Walker.
Yes, law enforcement was dispatched to Booker T, Washington High School due to a fight between two students. I believe the victim's name, she might be another minor, so I'll refer to her as juvenile DL. This was a fight that happened at school. The state is recommending a signature bond through pretrial services. No further violent contact with.
Got the audio working?
I can't. I don't.
No further violent contact with the juvenile by the name or the initials of DL. No weapons, drugs, or alcohol while on bond.
Okay, Ms. Kim?
We have no objection to a signature on bond. My client, Miss Watson, is 17 years young, 11th grade. She will be expected to graduate 2025. Yes, and she actually also has a 1-year-old and she's expecting probably. So I really think that she needs to get out of the jail as fast as she can to take care of her baby and herself. And Your Honor, I would like to request for that's it, Your Honor. We have no objection to any kind of condition with Diamond Long. She does not know her that well, and they don't think they're gonna go to the same school.
Have you spoken with her guardian, Ms. Kim? Does she have somebody that's going to sign her out?
Samuel Jackson, grandfather, 404. I can have phone number texted to Mr. Howard.
Okay.
I don't need no phone number.
Okay, no problem.
It will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further violent contact with DL. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you.
Good luck to you, Ms. Watson. Let's see, Mr. Cook, you want to see if we can hear you now?
Yes, I couldn't hear you, but we
okay.
were running that. So yes, we're going both ways now.
Okay, thanks for helping out, Mr. Trejo. Good to see you this afternoon.
Yeah, thank you.
You too, Judge. Happy to help.
Who do we have next?
We can go to position number 2, Mr. Bariga.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Barriga. You have been charged in case 24 CR 003389H with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Ninth arrest. I didn't see any felony convictions.
Ms. McCockey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This incident occurred on June 1st, 2024 at the Olive Garden located at 905 Holcomb Bridge Road in Roswell. The defendant is accused of ripping the victim's purse out of her hands, which caused 2 of her nails to come off. The victim's name is Ann Berea. Our office did have a chance to speak with the victim, who stated that her and the defendant are married. They do live together and share 1 child. She confirmed the events in the warrant and stated they have gotten into arguments before, but this is the first time the defendant has been physical with her. The victim stated she is not in fear of the defendant and is okay with having contact with him, and is also okay with the defendant returning to the residence. The state is recommending a signature bond through pretrial and no further violent contact with the victim and Barriga, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. At this time, I would ask the court to sound for the victim, Ms. Ann Barriga.
Ms. Barriga, I see you there. If you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. You, of course, do not have to, but if you would like to, I'll need for you to unmute yourself, activate your camera, and I'll have to swear you in. Doesn't appear. Oh. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, if you'll raise your right hand for me, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, it looks like you're pulled over there in your vehicle. Is that right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, what would you like to tell the court, ma'am?
I do want to speak on that of Baron Autumn's character. He is a good father. He is a good husband. I think with the circumstances that he's in right now just caused him to allow his anger to kind of get out of control. I don't have any fear of him for my life, nor for our 3-year-old son. But I do just think that this is an opportunity for him to seek anger management and to also to make some changes, lifestyle changes, to be able to help with his situation.
Okay, has this ever happened before?
We've gotten into arguments, but not getting physical.
And you like him back in the household?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for being here this afternoon, ma'am.
Thank you.
Is this your case, Mr. Cook?
No, it is not, Your Honor.
Oh. Who's representing?
I just got off the phone with one of my clients. Who are we talking about right now?
This is position number 2.
Oh, number 2, Ross Shirley. Yes, that is my client, Your Honor. I apologize.
No, that's number 2 on the add-on calendar. This is number 2 on the regular
Oh.
calendar, Ms. Kim.
Sorry about that. Regular calendar number 2. No, yes, that's my client. Yes.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
I'm ready. Actually, my client is 38 years old, Your Honor, and he has been here in Georgia ever since 1999, almost 25 years here in Georgia. He is a U.S. citizen. He has a bachelor's degree from American International University. He also has a job he used to have a job as a software test engineer, but right now he's not really sure whether he's still employed. So he may have to find a new job. And Your Honor, we would like to request for a signature on bond through pretrial, level 1, and also no further violent contact. I tried to reach his wife, but I was not able to talk to her yet.
She was just on and she expressed her desires, Ms. Kim.
I apologize. I was on the phone with my other client, so I couldn't hear.
Okay,
Thank
you're
you.
fine. It'll be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Ms. Ann Bariliga, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Next, we can go to position number 4, Mr. Bradley. Oh.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bradley. You have been charged in case 24 CR 003393C with reckless stunt driving, obscured or missing license plate, fleeing or attempting to elude a police officer, driving in circular or zigzag course, laying drags, failure to obey signs or control devices, improper erratic lane change, and failure to report striking a fixed object. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Third, on probation, Clayton County for drugs. That's it.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement observed the driver of a gray Mustang drag racing south on Cortlandt Street with several other vehicles. The officer got behind the Mustang, and the Mustang gave flight for several blocks. It made erratic lane changes without signaling and ran several traffic control devices. It ended up crashing in front of a townhome and became disabled. That's why the officer was able to detain the driver of the vehicle. The state is asking for $1,000 surety bond on each count. In total, that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I believe it's $7,000 surety. No driving while out on bond. No weapons, drugs, or alcohol as well.
Mr. Cook?
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 24 years old. He is employed as a cook at the Waffle House and has been doing that over a year now. This appears a bit out of character. The allegations appear a bit out of character, given his rather modest wages. We understand the severity of the allegations, but they are just that, allegations. We would be seeking a signature bond at whatever level the judge deems appropriate, and certainly we understand there would need to be relevant restrictions.
Okay. These will all be good bonds. For the reckless stunt driving, a $500 good bond, obscured or missing license plate, $250 good bond, fleeing or attempting to elude, $1,000 good bond, laying drags, $500 good bond, failure to obey signs, $250 good bond, improper erratic lane change, $250 good bond, failure to report striking a fixed object, $250 good bond, makes for a total of a $3,000 good bond, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Bradley.
Next, we can go to position number 3, Mr. Booker.
Yo. That's not for.
Good afternoon, Mr. Booker. You have been charged in case 24 CR 003398C with battery, family violence, 3 counts of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree, violating the family violence protective order, and criminal trespass and damage to property. To your history, Mr. Howard?
Third, 2023 simple battery open. 2022 criminal damage to property, simple assault dismissed.
The simple battery, is that in Fulton County?
I'm not sure. I didn't make a note of it, if it is.
I believe it's out of DeKalb County, Your Honor, and it is with the same victim, Ms. Dana Baker. Her and the defendant have 3 children together. From my understanding, she does have an active TPO, and there was an active TPO that was in place during this incident. She was driving or dropping their 3 children off to his parents' home. He found out that she was at the parents' house dropping the kids off because they were helping with childcare. He came and physically assaulted her. From my understanding, he punched her, kicked her. She tried to call for help, and he actually drug her. This occurred in front of their 3 children. They do have that other open case out of DeKalb County. They do have an open TPO. Of course, the state has serious concern for the victim and the children that witnessed this incident. Ms. Baker is on the line, but we are asking for a $5,000 surety bond to the battery family violence, and for the cruelty to children on each count, we're asking for another $2,500 surety each count. No contact with her or the children. I don't think a stay away is necessary because this is his parents' home, but we are asking for a no contact with Ms. Baker and the children, no weapon, drugs, or alcohol while on bond. And Ms. Dana Booker is on the line.
And Mr. Hudson, is this your case?
Yes, Judge. Deputy Norris told me you was gonna be in court today. So,
Okay.
how you doing, Judge?
I'm doing
Judge,
well.
Judge, I'm present in court is Ms. Dana Styles Booker. She's the ex-wife to Calvin Booker. That's his ex-wife, and present is in court right now is Natasha Booker. She's in my office. I believe his mother and father have joined the Zoom. They don't wish to speak. But Judge, let me give you a background of this, what's going on, so you can have a better understanding of what's going on. On April 28th, in front of this evolves around a lot of custody issues, Judge. April 28th, we just had a TPO hearing with Judge Ashley Osby. Judge Osby heard all the facts, and she ended up granting a I think she dismissed the TPO because it's a TPO in place already against Mr. Booker. Now, the chief magistrate, as you know, Judge, is Brendan Murphy in Cobb County. The TPO is out of Cobb County. So Judge Murphy actually initially had Mr. Booker, and if you need to hear from the alleged victim, she can confirm this, Judge. It was a TPO against Mr. Booker for the incident, and the kids were part of the temporary restraining order. We went through 2 hearings, one in front of Judge Osby last week and a contempt hearing back in early April for Mr. Booker. Judge Murphy reduced he released the kids from the temporary restraining order. So Mr. Booker can go visit his children from the school. Whole lot of mess, Judge. It's an order online. We're not gonna litigate the case. Judge, the facts are the facts. We would stipulate that an incident took place at his mother's home. Do we got a defense? We'll deal with that once the case get accused, Judge. But my only concern is, and his other attorney, Kim Demeckis, brought up this case when we had our hearing. Judge, this incident is questionable if it took place in front of the kids. Judge Osby didn't believe it did. That's the reason why she didn't put the TPO in. That's why she didn't extend the TRO to the kids. She told Ms. Booker that anything she needed to do, she needed to make a modification in front of Judge Leonard, as well as Judge Leonard, as you know, the Superior Court judge in Cobb, as well as Judge Murphy. So, Judge, we have no problem with no contact with Ms. Styles Booker. However, we're gonna ask that you continue to leave in place the is no violent contact with the children, because the children not being accused of being abused. The actual incident that took place is between Ms. Dana Styles Booker, which incident did occur, Judge. I'm not asking like that didn't happen. So, but Judge Murphy as well as Judge Osby said, keep the kids out of it. Mr. Booker is a great father. Judge, we had the guardian ad litem come to court. And so that all already in place. So, Judge, I'm asking for, I would ask for a bond through pretrial services. Mr. Booker, he attended, Judge, and graduated from Georgia Tech University. He's a former football player, former quarterback. He has his own financial business, which is Risk Capital, Rise Capital, Judge. And so, Judge, he has ties to the community. He lives in South Fulton. He has 3 children. There's no allegations of abuse with the children. The only allegations of abuse is with Ms. Dana Booker. And I am stipulating the incident did take place, Judge. And Judge, he's not a flight risk. He's not likely to intimidate any victims or witnesses. And last point, Judge, this was more important to know. This incident did take place at his mother's home. She came to his mother's home to drop off one child, which is undisputed, and she cannot say anything to the contrary. Even her lawyers stipulated to that. And Judge, my client is not a risk to come around her. The stay away is in order for a reason, and he has not been around her. They have a mediator, which is the mother's, the maternal and the paternal grandmother and grandfather. They meet at the sit-go over here off Boat Rock. So, Judge, all we're gonna ask you, Judge, is keep the no contact with Miss Booker in place, but leave the current order in place as if Mr. Booker can still see the kids. And the judge told Mr. Booker, Judge Osby, and Judge Murphy, as well as Ms. Stiles Booker, can confirm that they told him that any modifications about him seeing the children or custody with the children need to be with Cobb County, and Fulton County really has no jurisdiction. Am I right, Mr. Booker? Thumbs up if I'm right. All right. And Judge, you can see the order online from Judge Ashley Osby.
Okay. Ms. Booker, if you would like to address me, I need for you to raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell me?
There were a lot of lies just told. The facts actually are that the motion to contempt was dropped only so that it would not interfere with the pending charges, criminal charges in Fulton. That's the only reason we did not proceed on the TPO contempt. I was brutally beaten in front of the kids, like within inches of the children. The evidence was destroyed on purpose. Mr. Booker broke my phone, and both of his parents are claiming their Ring cameras had been off because of construction and recent renovations, which to me, I don't know why anybody would cut their Ring footage off while there's strangers working on their home. Those renovations happened in January and February, and she's saying that still on April 18th, those cameras were off. If the cameras were on, which I know they were, there's evidence showing my son leaving out the back door around the same, or a little bit before I came in the driveway, where Mr. Booker still was trying to attack me through my car. And Mrs. Booker, his mother, was trying to pull him off of me. I was indeed invited to come over in the morning. I had one child spend the night from the night before from a softball game. If I was not allowed in their home, I would have never in my life given a child over to them somewhere I'm not welcome. I would have taken my daughter to the appointment. I would have had my dad. Also, Mr. Booker told my father, who's right here, which would be on Ring camera as well in their backyard that same day later on, that he assured us he would testify against Calvin because what he witnessed was so gruesome. And it was, in fact, in front of the kids. Mrs. Booker did get the two twins. Once the fight already started, it happened right behind them. They could have easily gotten entangled in that. My son witnessed him punch me, stomp on me. He broke a picture on the wall. There was glass on the floor. And then he ultimately ended up breaking my phone for a reason, because there's text messages in that phone that state, his mother and I speaking about what had happened at the game before, as far as organizing her getting to the doctor. They're claiming that I knew that Calvin Jr. was going to go to that doctor's appointment. There's no evidence of that. I only have evidence of him asking me a couple weeks before for another doctor appointment on the Family Wizard app. He asked if I was planning to go, because if not, he said he would go with his mother. The appointment was for 9:30 a.m. He appeared at his parents' house 10 minutes after I did. Neither one of his parents said, "Hey, Dana, Calvin's on the way over." They know that there's a TPO in place. They claimed that I wasn't welcome there and that they were shocked to see me. When on the text that morning or the night before, I said, "Yes, I'll stop by in the morning so you guys can also see Trey and Callie." They were making breakfast. Mr. Booker was making breakfast for me that didn't include pork. And he claims that his back was turned this whole time. They claimed that I started recording him immediately when he came down the steps. That's not true. They claimed I started cussing at him and attacking him. I didn't say a word. I was recording until his father asked me to stop, because Calvin kept getting louder and louder, calling me out my name in front of my kids. He's going to do this again. He's violated his bond in the cab. He's violated his TPO in Cobb. He's done things in public, in church, at baseball fields, in front of his son and his son's teammates. He's gone to the school, and the GAO has talked to the principal there about him also cussing her out and calling her out her name, completed a complete scene at this private school, who then asked me to keep my child at home because they're afraid of him coming back up there making another scene. He's been manipulating the children. He's telling the children that, oh, daddy and mommy were just wrestling too hard. So I do not want him to have contact with these children until this case has been seen in whatever criminal court with, what is this, Fulton County. They are destroying the evidence for a reason. There's ring footage and they got rid of it. And yeah.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Booker. Is there currently a custody arrangement in place by another court?
In Cobb, this was, I'm sorry, it was where it originally was. The reason I went to Fulton is because he's moved to Fulton since being on the last protective order, the temporary one. So he moved from Cobb to Fulton. So I did the TPO in Fulton because hoping they could serve him in his home address, which is in Fulton County. And the incident happened in Fulton County as well.
Okay, no, but I'm asking you, is there currently by any other court a custody arrangement in place?
Yes.
Okay, and where is that Cobb?
Yes, that's Cobb County.
And what does that custody agreement state?
He has them every other weekend.
Okay. All right. Anything further, Ms. Booker?
Oh, yes, there is one more thing, because they're claiming that I was supposed to meet them at Citco. That was for custody arrangement drop-offs. That did not apply. And I also have footage of Ms. Booker, his mother, coming to my house, into me in my driveway. And I had been in their house prior to, but they're saying I hadn't been welcome there. I would never let my child go to a doctor with a grandparents whose home I'm not welcome in. I would never do that.
Okay, thank you for being here this afternoon, ma'am.
Judge.
Yes,
Judge,
Mr. Hudson.
can I cross-examination?
Go ahead. Yeah.
It's not about the incident. Ms. Booker, isn't it true an incident took place at his mother's house between you and Calvin? That's true, am I correct?
Oh, yes, that's true. I'm not banned from his mother's house.
I know you're not banned from the mother's house, but isn't it also true that Judge Osby dismissed your TRO against Mr. Booker last week?
She said we needed to handle it in Cobb County.
Right.
Yeah, it was dismissed in Fulton. She said we need to go to Cobb County where the original, I guess, protective order was.
And isn't it true that the children have been lifted from the restraining order in Cobb? Isn't it true? He can see.
Oh, it was, but that was before this incident happened. So
exactly.
Yes. Otherwise, the incident would not have happened.
Well, Judge, we don't know if the incident would. Thank you, Ms. Booker. Judge, we don't know if the incident would happen. The only thing I'm asking, Judge, I can confirm there's and Mr. Howard representing Mr. Booker in DeKalb County as well. Judge, the incident did take place. We're not arguing that. What we're arguing for, the fact is, the situation, Judge, we believe it did not happen in front of the children. His mother, them on Zoom, they would testify, Judge, but we don't have two hearings where they testified about this. Now, the situation, Judge, like Judge Osby and Judge Murphy both told her, and we did a hearing, and Judge mentioned the Tanks versus State case, like if he violated him on the contempt, Judge, that would bar them from pursuing the case in Fulton. So Ms. Booker, through her attorney, they carefully crafted, they re-amended the complaint. So they came back in Fulton, Judge. Think about it, Judge Murphy told Ms. Booker, and she can confirm it, and Judge, she's been totally honest on this phone call. She has been honest, and I'm shocked that she have. Judge Murphy told her, you in the custody will deal with that in front of Judge Leonard and Judge Murphy. That's what Judge Murphy told her that, Judge Leonard told her that. So, Judge, all we're asking him to do, Judge, is set a bond for Mr. Booker and keep the order in place like Judge Osby and Judge Murphy. Mr. Booker, put your hands down. So that's it, Judge. Because it's an order already in place by Superior Court where he can see his kids. And Ms. Booker testified to the truth and veracity of that, Judge.
Yes, Ms. Booker.
I wanted to add that was before this attack happened in front of our children. And my son also is stating he has PTSD. I don't even know who taught him that word, but he's traumatized. Because both incidences happened right in front of him. And he saw the whole thing. And they know that. And the kids know that. Kids are not going to forget that.
And Judge, there was no evidence coming out about that. There was no evidence coming out about that. the evidence did come about that she suffered from bruises. We believe it came from a fall, but we know they were physical with each other in the grandmother's home. Judge, I'm just asking you to honor the Superior Court order and keep it in place where he can see the children every other weekend. Also, I want to point out, Judge, what Ms. Booker not telling you is, let me finish, Ms. Booker, because you've been very honest up front. What Ms. Booker not telling you, Judge, when the children have softball game events, when it's her weekend with the kids, Mr. Booker cannot come around. When it's his weekend with the kids, she can't come around. The other attorney is Kim Demekis and Adama McKinnon and Ryan Williams. The order is in place for a reason, Judge, and that's why I'm asking you to continue to keep it in place. And Ms. Booker wanted to keep Mr. Booker, keep the kids away from Mr. Booker for a custody battle, but that Judge Murphy and Judge Osby said need to be handled in front of Judge Leonard in court. And Mr. Booker know I'm telling the truth about that.
Okay. Anything further, Mr. Walker?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms.
I
Booker, I'm
have,
gonna.
I did send the pictures. That's not what happened to me. Could never happen from a fall. So
Okay,
there's pictures of it. And I had
this
to
is
go to
just a
Grady
bond-
Trauma Center.
This is just a bond hearing today, Ms. Booker, so you're gonna get every chance to litigate your case further down the road, okay?
Got you. Okay, I just want to reiterate that the children are shook by this event, and he's gonna try to manipulate them. He has a lot of money, and he'll do whatever he can and buy stuff for them. One of my twins was afraid to even speak up, but she said she's afraid of what he was gonna do or say to her. So the children are indeed messed up, and from this incident, and they all have therapy appointments coming up. I do want to keep no contact until we go to court about that.
All right, so let's see, you will be able to go back and make any type of modifications with Cobb Superior. So I'm going to allow you to do that and work it out in the Superior Court. As far as this bond is concerned, they will all be good bonds. For the battery, it's going to be a $2,000 good bond. For each of the cruelty to children, it will be a $250 good bond. For the violating family protective order, a $1,000 good bond. For the criminal trespass and damage to property, a $250 good bond. Makes for a total of a $4,000 good bond. No further contact with Dana Booker. Stay away from her residence. I'm gonna have him comply with any existing custody orders. So if you do go back and the custody is modified, Ms. Booker, then he'll have to comply with those modifications. Until that time, third-party transfer of any minor children, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Okay? If nothing further, good luck to all of you. Anything further this afternoon, Mr. Hudson?
No, Judge, thank you, Judge. And that's the Judge, I just want to say thank you because that was the judge result that Judge Murphy and Judge Osby was relaying to us in court. And she was like, both of the judges said, y'all go to Judge Leonard with custody issues. That's all. So thank you for following.
Yeah, that's based on lies being told.
Okay.
We'll handle it.
And you'll be able to litigate that.
And this wasn't his first offense. Sorry.
It's not, Judge. It's not his first offense.
You'll be able to litigate all of that in hopefully the very near future, Ms. Booker. Y'all have a good afternoon.
Thank you, Judge.
You too. Thank you.
You're welcome. Who do we have next?
Position number 8 and 9, Mr. Conway.
Judge, and I'm here. I just logged on. Perfect timing.
Oh, is this your case, Mr. Fortis?
It is. If that's
Okay.
if that's Mr. Conway.
Yes, it is. Good afternoon. Let's see, Mr. Conway, good afternoon. You have been charged in case 24 CR 003381A with willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, expired or no driver's license plate or decal, obscured or missing license plate. And in case 24 CR 003382A, you've been charged with giving false information to law enforcement. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
11/2023 arrest for a window tint sale of marijuana that's open. 23 SC 191-265. On probation for ag assault, possession of a firearm by convicted felon or felony first offender. 2020 parole violation. 2014 possession of a knife or a firearm during a commission. Criminal attempt to commit a felony conviction. 2014 FTA. That's it.
Ms. Bakaki?
Yes, Your Honor. Officers were conducting a traffic stop due to the defendant having an expired tag and failing to display the license plate of the vehicle while he was operating it. The defendant fled the scene of the traffic stop on foot when the officer told him to step outside of the vehicle. And this is in regards to position number 8. The state's recommendation is a signature bond through pretrial services, no driving without a valid license, registration, or insurance, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. In regards to position number 9, giving a false name, the defendant is accused of telling the police officers that his name was Jaleel Conway, which is the name of the defendant's brother. The state is recommending a signature bond through pretrial services and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Okay. I'm happy to hear from you, Mr. Fortis, but if it's all right with you, I'm going to give your client signature bonds through the jail. Would you like to make an argument prior to that time?
Well, what I think I'd rather do, Judge, than rather through the jail. Yes, we would take that through the
Right.
jail. Yes.
Okay, given that they're mostly traffic offenses. Okay, so for position 8, obstruction, $1,000 signature bond through the jail. The license plate charge, a $250 signature bond through the jail. Obscured or missing license plate, $250 signature bond through the jail, makes for a total of a $1,500 signature bond through the jail. And on position number 9, giving false information, $1,000 signature bond through the jail. That suits you, Mr. Fortis?
Suits me just fine, Your Honor. It's good to see you.
All right, you also. Have a good afternoon.
You as well, sir. Mr. Conway, call me when you get out. May I be excused, Your Honor?
Yes, have a good afternoon.
You as well.
Next, we go to position number 15, Mr. Hughie.
Good afternoon, Mr. Hughie. You've been charged in case 24 CR 0033911Y with willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, reckless conduct, and possession of a pistol or revolver by a person under 18 years of age. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Second adult arrest. 2024 reckless conduct. Unauthorized discharge of a firearm within 50 yards. That's an open pretrial case. That's all.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was surveilling the area of 415 Parkway Drive where they noticed the defendant smoking a marijuana blunt. They detained the individual for smoking marijuana in public. They noticed a bulge on his individual. At that time, the defendant gave flight. He ended up discarding his firearm. I believe it was a .40 caliber Taurus handgun. To the count of possession of a pistol by a person under the age of 18. We're asking for a $10,000 surety bond. To the reckless conduct and the obstruction, we're asking for a signature bond through pretrial services. No firearms, drugs, or weapons or alcohol while out on bond. We're going to be asking for a curfew as he is under the age of 18, is my understanding. Nothing further from this at this time.
The open reckless, do you have that bond?
I want to say 5,000.
And who gave him that bond?
I think it came out of Superior Court, I think. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't recall.
Do you have the bond?
Let me look it up.
Okay, thank you. Is this your case, Mr. Trejo?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay, you can proceed.
Yes, Judge. Mr. Huey is 17 years old. He is an Atlanta native. He completed part of the 10th grade. That's as far as he went in school. But at the time of his arrest, Your Honor, he was enrolled in a Job Corps job training program and was working on getting his GED, Your Honor. He works 2 jobs. He works at Mellow Mushroom on Peachtree here in Midtown, and then he when he's not working there, he does have a second job at Burger King. And he lives with his mother and his 19-year-old sister, who he helps pay the bills. Your Honor, given that he already has another bond and given foreseeing some of the factual issues that the flight associated in this case was just with an alleged bulge that they saw on him, that they never actually saw him possessing a firearm, Your Honor, we would ask for a signature bond on that possession charge.
Find a weapon, Mr. Walker?
Yes, they did, Your Honor. It was a 40 caliber Taurus handgun.
Okay, and has anybody been able to locate that underlying bond for me?
Hold on, it's under a different name. Hold on, let me see. Oh, looking 2404-390.
Mr. Trejo, have you had any contact with his mother or sister?
I have not at this time, Your Honor. I have contact information for his mother, but I've not reached her at this time.
Go to order. Yeah, it was Judge Mincy. Curfew was 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. Something about a GED program. Yeah. That was a $15,000 split bond. You got a $10,000 good bond on one charge and $5,000 pretrial on the other.
So
Okay.
I'll modify my request since he was already out on a pretrial bond. I'm sure they're about to come off of that pretrial bond. I'll just ask for a straight surety bond on those other 2 counts of the reckless conduct and the obstruction. I'll ask for a $1,500 surety bond on each count, and then keep the $10,000 possession of a pistol by a person under the age of 18.
Ian, you didn't hear me, huh?
No, I'm sorry. I was multitasking.
Yeah.
All right. So the SAP calendar is going to be on June 18th. Mr. Trejo, I'll be on that calendar that day. If you want to let your fellow public defenders who are in that court know to expect Mr. Hughley, and that if they want a modification of this bond today, that I'll need to hear from one of his parents or someone that is his guardian. But for today, given that he has a previous reckless conduct, for the willful obstruction, it's going to be $1,000 good bond. The reckless conduct, $1,000 good bond, and the possession of a pistol, $10,000 good bond, makes for a total of a $12,000 good bond. Keep in place that curfew from 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Great.
Okay. All right. So, let's see, Ms. Bridgewater, if you could make a note also on this open reckless conduct to place that on that SAP calendar as well. So maybe we could look at them all at one time. Do you have
Okay. Do you have that case number?
you know the case number, Mr. Walker?
24 CR
Uh-huh.
00. Who talking?
Uh-huh.
001
Uh-huh.
300 letter E as in Edward.
Okay, I have 24 CR 001300E.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bridgewater. All right, good luck to you, Mr. Hughley. Who do we have next?
We can go to the add-on position number 3. Mr. Strudis.
This way.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sturgis. You've been charged in case 24 CR 003400G with giving false information to law enforcement and driving without a valid license. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
19, on probation for ag assault with a deadly weapon, possession of a firearm by convicted felon. 2022 FTA probation, 2019 probation, 2019 disorderly conduct conviction. And I think got a current probation hold.
Your Honor, the defendant was essentially pulled over for not having a valid license. When they made contact with him, he gave a false name of Jacqui, I believe. The state is asking for a signature bond through the jail on both counts. No weapon, drugs, or alcohol while on bond.
Afternoon, Ms. McLeod. Any objection, to any of that?
No objection, Your Honor. We're fine with that.
Okay, so for each charge, it'll be a $500 signature bond through the jail, makes for a total of $1,000 signature bond through the jail. No driving without a valid license, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Sturgis.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Ms. McLeod.
Next, we do position number 16, Mr. Jackson.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jackson. You have been charged in case 24 CR 003392Y with possession and use of drug-related objects and theft by taking. Is your history, Mr. Howard?
7, 2023 theft by receiving, possession of marijuana, open in Clayton County. 2022 FTA probation, 2020 disorderly conduct NOLO, and 2016 ag assault first offense. That's it.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 2450 Old National Highway. When they met with the victim, Mr. Darius Bradford, he advised that the defendant took his Samsung Galaxy phone. I believe that this was captured on footage. The state's asking for a signature bond through the jail on both counts. Stay away from that instant location. No contact with Mr. Bradford. No weapon, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond.
Your Honor, we are fine with the state's recommendation for bond.
Okay. For the possession and use of drug-related objects, a $500 SOB through the jail. For the theft, $1,000 SOB through the jail, makes for a total of a $1,500 SOB through the jail. No further contact with the alleged victim, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Jackson.
Next, we could go to position number 7. Actually, Your Honor, if Ms. McLeod has a case at ACBC, we can go to that one.
I have 2 there.
Okay, you want to tell me who those are, Ms. McLeod? So is Officer Milton there?
Oh, I don't know.
I can give you the names.
Okay, it doesn't look like Officer Milton's with us there, though.
Yeah.
One of them is Lively.
Miller and Miss Lively.
If Ms. Lively can come up to the chair at ACBC.
Okay, you're gonna have her operate the machine too?
He was there to hear her right.
Again, if Officer, oh, there she goes.
Oh, Lively's gonna be an NOD anyway, so.
Okay, and I'm sorry, tell me again who this is?
Shanice Lively, position number.
I don't see her on the calendar.
It's gonna be, I'm about to NOD it.
Okay, yes, ma'am, your case is being dismissed. You're gonna be free to go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
And
you.
who is the other one?
Miss
Miller.
Alana Miller.
Yes.
She's not on the calendar.
That's gonna be an NOD as well. I'll send it over shortly.
Okay, so.
I'm sorry, Mr. Walker, that was a cross defendants, or what do you plan on doing with Miss
Give me 1 second, I'll let you know. But Miller and Lively are both NODs. Mr. Cook, I'll get back to you in a few moments, okay?
Okay, thank you.
The cross-defendant, Amaya. The cross-defendant, Miss Amaya, that's gonna be no cross.
Okay, so
You
she's
have
out.
it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, so yes, ma'am, your case is also being dismissed, ma'am.
One sec, what's your name? Okay, this is Miller. Amaya, switch, please.
Mhm.
Okay,
That concludes my business before the court today. May I be excused?
yes, have a good afternoon, Ms. McLeod. Thank you.
Your
Good to see you
Honor.
as always.
Good to see you too.
Yes, ma'am, your case is being dismissed as well. Good luck to you.
Carter, last name Carter. We can go to position number 7, Mr. Carter.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Carter. You've been charged in case 24CR 003380C with battery family violence. Is there a history?
Yeah. First.
Ms. McCockey?
Yes, Your Honor. The victim, Ariel Dublin, was attempting to retrieve her belongings from the apartment that she shared with the defendant when he began to verbally attack her. The victim went outside and sat on the stairs of the apartment, and the defendant pushed and grabbed her, which caused lacerations to her finger, shoulder, and also her neck. The state's recommendation is a $2,000 surety bond, no further contact with Ariel Dublin, stay away from the incident location, which is I have is 5675 Roswell Road, Sandy Springs, Georgia. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. At this time, I would ask the court to sound for the victim, Ms. Ariel Dublin.
If Ms. Dublin is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Doesn't appear so. Mr. Trejo, is this your case? No?
No, Judge.
Who's representing?
This is my case, Your Honor.
Okay, yes, you can proceed.
Your Honor, my client is 28 years old. The incident location was 5675 Roswell Road. I believe that's correct. He has no problem with the stay away from the victim, and I believe he already has plans to move or has basically left that location. I'm not sure. I think he may actually be on the lease, but there's going to be a stay away from the incident location. He's already made plans to do that. He is self-employed as a videographer, photographer. He's been doing that for 7 years. Given his background, we would be asking, of course, we have no objection to any stayaways or no further contact, but given his background, we would be asking for a signature bond to the jail.
Okay, it will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with Ms. Dublin. Stay away from the Roswell Road address. You can go back to that address if necessary on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he might have there. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Carter.
What was that dollar amount?
2,000.
2,000. Okay.
Next, we can go to position number 10, Mr. Copeland.
Good afternoon, Mr. Copeland. You've been charged in case 24CR 003383J with battery family violence and criminal trespass and damage to property. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
6, 23, and 2024 FTAs. I didn't see any violent arrests.
Ms. McCockey?
This incident took place June 1st, 2024 at 765 McDaniel Street, Southwest in Atlanta. The victim, Ms. Natasha Critchlow, advised that the parties were having a verbal dispute that turned physical when the defendant slammed the victim onto the bed and then proceeded to slam her onto the floor. The defendant grabbed the victim by her jaw and hair and attempted to drag her outside of the residence. The victim did manage to escape, but later returned to the apartment to retrieve her keys and her cell phone. The victim did advise that she took a kitchen knife with her when she returned to protect herself. The victim was unable to find her property. And it was discovered that the defendant had thrown the victim's cell phone onto the roof of the apartment, and they're unable to retrieve it from that location, and the victim could not find her keys, and we do not know where those are. The victim did sustain multiple bruises and bleeding lacerations as a result of the attack. For the battery family violence, the state is recommending a $2,500 surety bond, and for the criminal trespass, the state is recommending a $500 surety bond. No further contact with the victim, Natasha Critchlow, and stay away from the incident location. No drugs or all out on bond.
If Natasha Critchlow is on the line now and would like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Mr. Cook?
Your Honor, my client's 31 years old, as a lifetime resident of the Atlanta area. He is working as a forklift driver now and has for some time. We have no objection to stay away or no further contact. Given his history, we would be asking for a signature bond through pretrial services.
Okay, for the battery, it'll be a $2,500 SO signature bond through pretrial level 1. For the criminal trespass, a $500 signature bond through pretrial level 1 makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with Ms. Critchlow. Was there a stay away asked for, Ms. McConkey?
Yes, there was, for the incident location.
Okay, stay away from the incident location, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Copeland.
Position number 5, Ms. Demisha Brown.
Good afternoon, Ms. Brown. You have been charged in case 24 CR 003379F with battery. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
8. Open case out of Clayton County for obstruction, theft of services, disorderly conduct. Open case out of Cherokee County for trespass, retail property fencing, and shoplifting. Open case out of Gwinnett, shoplifting, criminal attempt to commit a felony. That's all.
Your Honor, you said she was charged with battery. I just want to clarify, I had her charged down as theft by shoplifting. Is that an error on my part?
There's been some confusion. I'm sorry, there's been some confusion about the two Browns here. I got them confused. There's a Camille Brown who is charged with the I guess the family family violence, I believe, and the Denisha Brown, because I was originally working her case until I realized it wasn't mine, was I believe just a shoplifting.
Okay, so I'm sorry, who do we have? Is this Demisha Brown?
Yes, you're on the position number 5.
Okay, thank you. So I'm sorry, Ms. Demisha Brown. You have been charged in case 24 CR 003378Y with theft by shoplifting. Was that her history, Mr. Howard, that you gave me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Ms. McConkey.
The defendant is accused of stealing a Nike jacket valued at $145 and Nike pants valued at $125 from the Champs store located at North Point Mall, 2008 North Point Parkway, Alpharetta. The defendant concealed the items by putting them in a Spencer's shopping bag. The defendant is thought to be part of a larger group of shoplifters targeting mostly Nike outlet stores and stealing the items in a similar fashion of putting them in a Spencer shopping bag and then proceeding to leave the establishment without paying for the items. So the cases that the defendant is accused of being a part of total about $17,700, and that is just in Woodstock, Georgia alone. The state's recommendation is a $1,500 surety bond to stay away from the Champs store located at North Point Mall. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out.
Yes, Ms. Kim, is this your case?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, my client, Miss Brown, Demasha Brown, is 30 years old, and she was born and raised here in Georgia, Your Honor, and she resides with her mother. Um, well, she is currently working, however, because of her injury that happened about a few weeks, she has not been able to go to work, and she wanted to go back to work, but now she is incarcerated, so she's afraid that she's going to lose her job. She has two children, Your Honor. One is 2 months old, and the other one is 7 years old. And she does not get any child support. She has no income as of now. She's a single mom. She completed up to 11th grade, and she is still pursuing her GED. She has no money to pay for any bond. We would like to request for a signature on bond through pretrial, whichever level you seem to be appropriate, Your Honor. She's kind of like residentially challenged. That's why she is residing with her mother, because she cannot afford to live away independently. So that's what we would like to request for. Thanks.
okay, it's gonna be a $5,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the Champs at North Point Mall. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Brown.
Next, we can go to position number 11, Mr. Dixon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Dixon. You have been charged in case 24CR003385J with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
It's fourth arrest. Last arrest was May 28th, DeKalb County. Theft by taking possession of marijuana. We got an open pretrial case, 23 CP 221652. It's criminal damage to property, second degree, and reckless conduct. That case in DeKalb is open. Got another open case, one in state court, Fulton State Court. It says prohibit purchase and sale of marijuana flavored products to a minor. It's 23 CR 005-396J. That's all.
Ms. McCockey?
Yes, the defendant is accused of pushing the victim, Iracema Velasquez, onto the ground, pushing her around several times, and dragging her down the stairs after she asked him to return her iPad mini. The victim sustained visible swelling to her leg. Due to certain facts in this case, the state's recommendation is a signature bond through pretrial services, no further contact with Iracema Velasquez. Stay away from the incident location, 1754 Richmond Avenue, Southeast Atlanta. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. And I would ask the court to sound for the victim, Ms. Iracema Velasquez.
If Ms. Velasquez is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am. If you would like to speak to the court, I'll need for you to activate your camera for me.
Okay.
Okay, can you raise your right hand for me? The other one? Your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court, ma'am?
When I told the cops, I wasn't dragged by him. I was holding on to him, so to prevent him from leaving with the iPad. I also wasn't pushed. I was more like tugged out the way so he can leave.
Okay, let's
And
see. Did you call the police?
No, I didn't call the police. I didn't
Okay.
want the police involved at all.
Has this ever happened before?
No.
Do you wish for him to return to, do you all live together?
Yes, we live together.
Okay, do you wish for him to return to the household?
If he wishes.
Okay, are you afraid of him?
No.
Thank you for being here this afternoon, ma'am.
No problem.
Mr. Cook?
Yes, Your Honor. The parties do live together. Mr. Dixon is 19 years old and works part-time at this point for FedEx. Is hoping not to get on full-time. We would ask for signature bonds, whatever level the court deems appropriate. I would prefer through the jail, and no further violent contact and no stay away provision. If given the testimony of the young lady, we would like to kind of leave that, open it up to them, but with no restrictions, except of course for no violent contact. And if he wanted to go back to the address and they want to take another run at it, they should be allowed to.
Okay, it'll be a $3,000 signature bond through the jail, no further contact with Ms. Velasquez, no further violent contact with Ms. Velasquez, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Dixon.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Next, we have position 6, Camille Brown.
Good afternoon, Ms. Brown. You have been charged in case 24 CR 003379F with battery. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
4, on probation, Douglas County for battery, cruelty in the third. Unauthorized discharge of a firearm within 50 yards of public street or highway. Ag assault, criminal damage to property, 2nd degree. Yeah, that's it. I think she got like 7 years probation for some charges and 5 for the other. Nothing.
Okay.
This incident took place September 18th, 2023 at 19 Joseph E. Lowry Boulevard, Northwest Atlanta, which is the defendant's boyfriend's residence. The defendant is accused of punching the victim, Chloe Brookins, several times with a closed fist. The victim sustained a bloody nose and facial swelling as a result of the attack. Our office has had a chance to speak with the victim, who says that her and the defendant were friends for some years. She did confirm that the incident location is the defendant's boyfriend's residence. She confirmed the events in the warrant, stated that she has had no contact with the defendant since the incident and does not wish to have any contact with her. The victim further advised that she wants the defendant to stay away from her residence, which is 40 Peachtree Valley Road Northeast, Atlanta, Georgia. Given the defendant's history, the state is recommending a $3,000 surety bond, no further contact with the victim, Chloe Brookins, stay away from the victim's residence, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond, and 1-day anger awareness.
If Ms. Chloe Brookins is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Mr. Cook?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 21 years old. She's working in the restaurant business at this time for 2 years. The persons here were friends for a couple of years. My client describes the altercation as in my words, a mutual combat, but they chose to arrest her. They chose to arrest. We have no problem with no further contact or stay away from the alleged victim's residence. The incident location is the residence of my client's boyfriend. So beyond that, we would be seeking a signature bond through whatever level the court deems appropriate.
All right, so it'll be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 per judge. No further contact with Ms. Brookins. Stay away from the alleged victim's residence, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Brown.
Next, we'll go to position number 13, Mr. Dorsey.
Good afternoon, Mr. Dorsey, you've been charged in case 24 CR 003387G with criminal trespass and willful obstruction of law enforcement. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
44. Open trespass out of Fulton. Open case out of Franklin County for obstruction. On probation in Fulton for ag assault. Terroristic threats. 2024 trespass, 2024 obstruction, 2023 probation. 2020, let me see, that's the ag assault conviction. I think he's homeless. That's all.
Okay, Ms. McConkey.
Yes, the defendant is accused of criminally trespassing upon the incident location 1247 Monroe Drive Northeast, despite there being no trespassing signs on the property. When officers attempted to detain the defendant, he began resisting arrest by not giving up his hands and clenching his body so officers could not arrest him. A struggle ensued for about 2 minutes before officers were able to detain the defendant. The state is recommending a signature bond through pretrial, stay away from the incident location, and no further contact with Boy Wire, who is the victim in this case, as that is his property. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. And I would ask the court to sound for Mr. Coy Wire.
Last name is Wire.
Yes, W-I-R-E.
If Mr. Wire is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Mr. Trejo?
Yes, Judge, we do not have any objection to a signature bond. My client is an Atlanta native. He has his entire family here. He's gainfully employed. And we don't have any objections.
Okay, he is not residentially challenged.
Your Honor, when I asked him, he did give me a street address and indicated that he pays rent there. As far as I know, based on my conversation with him, he did indicate that he was residentially challenged.
All right, I wanted to see if we could get him some services if he was. So in that case, for each charge, it'll be $1,000 signature bond through the jail, makes for a total of a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the incident location, no further contact with the alleged victim, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Dorsey.
Next, we go to position number 17, Mr. Mitchell.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Mitchell. You have been charged in case 24 CR 003395J with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
No.
Ms. McConkey?
Oh, I apologize. That is not my case.
Okay. Mr. Walker, you with me?
I'm here, Your Honor. Can you hold on? Can you hear me?
I can.
I'm sorry. What case is this? What
This
position?
is position number 17, Mr. Mitchell.
1 second.
Ian, I got first arrest.
All right, hold on. I'm sorry. Mm.
Excuse me.
If this is his father, Mr. Mitchell, I'm going to give you the opportunity to speak in turn, okay? So if this is Mr. Mitchell Senior, I'll allow you to speak, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case,
before you get going, Mr. Walker, and Mr. Mitchell Senior, if you can activate your camera for me, that will help speed up the process. Go ahead, Mr. Walker.
in this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 168 Scott Street, where they met with the victim, who's a juvenile by the name of TW. From my understanding, the juvenile is his stepson, and I'm sure the defendant is going to say that he was disciplining his stepson, but of course,
Okay. Excuse me, is this position number 17?
oh well, maybe not. I'm sorry.
No, that's the wrong case. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. Trevor Mitchell should be position number 17.
The mic is.
Am I correct, Judge?
You're correct, Mr.
Okay.
Mr. Walker, you're on mute.
All right, let's try this one more time. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 1125 Cascade Circle, where they met with the victim, Mercedes Sprague. She advised that her and the defendant were having a disagreement, and he pushed her into the door 3 times. The state is asking for a signature bond through pretrial services, no contact with the victim, Ms. Sprague. 1-day anger awareness course, no weapon, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond.
Okay, what's her last name, Mr. Walker?
It's spelled Sprake.
Okay, and if Ms. Sprake is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Okay, and I know that Mr. Mitchell Sr. wanted to address the court. If you'd like to address the court, sir, I'll need for you to raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
Yes, good afternoon, sir. I basically just want to testify on my son's behalf. I was on the onset shortly after the incident, but that's kind of lengthy to get into. I was hoping that he was unaware of this information on this warrant and never got to receive the correct documentation. He was also in DeKalb County. He had a restraining order, which just ended in December, and he completed that successfully with anger management classes. I'm hoping today that, Your Honor, that you'll be lenient enough to give him a signature bond. He's a homeowner and a college graduate, and he currently has a job. And this is not in his character at all. And there's a lot more to it than what has been presented.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mitchell, for being here this afternoon.
Thank you, Your Honor, for giving me the opportunity to speak on my son's behalf.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, Ms. Kim.
I think his father did a great job. So other than that, he has been here in Georgia for 32 years. Your Honor, he's 37 years old. We would like to request for signature on bond. Thank you.
Okay, given the age of the case, it will be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail, no further contact with Ms. Sprake, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. All right, good luck to you, both of the Mr. Mitchells.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Who do we have next?
Position 14, Ms. Fuller.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Fuller. You've been charged in case 24 CR 003384J with battery. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
No.
In this case, Your Honor, law enforcement was dispatched to 1396 Everhart, where they met with the victim, Ms. Nakia Johnson. She advised that her and the defendant are roommates, and they were having a verbal disagreement where the defendant pepper sprayed the victim, Ms. Johnson, in her eyes. I believe that Ms. Johnson did have to go to the hospital to seek treatment. She reported to our office that they have had a previous incident in the past. It's not the first instance of violence. We're asking for a $1,500 surety bond, no contact with Ms. Johnson, a stay away from the incident location, no weapon, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. I'm not sure if Ms. Nakia Johnson is here, but I would sound for her.
If Ms. Johnson is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Does not appear so. Whose case is this?
That will be mine, Judge.
Okay, you can proceed, Mr. Trejo.
Thank you, Judge. Your Honor, my client is 20 years old. She is a Metro Atlanta native, hailing from Stone Mountain. She's currently enrolled full-time as a student at Georgia State. She's getting her degree in public policy, going into her 3rd year. When she's not studying, Your Honor, she is she does work at Michael's. She works retail for them. She lives in a house with 3 other roommates, 4 students total. and she does pay for a share of the rent as well as the utilities. My client has no history, Your Honor. Previously, the state mentioned that there was a previous interaction between my client and the alleged victim in this case. In that other incident, it's my understanding that my client was the victim on the receiving end of the victim in this case, Your Honor. My client also told me that they've gone to the landlord to try and shuffle around the roommate situation and have a new roommate in the house, and basically separate these two parties. With that in mind, Your Honor, we ask that my client be given a signature bond and that she not be given a stay away order, given that they are resolving the housing situation privately. We would ask that there be a no further contact and no stay away order in this case.
And Your Honor, we have talked to the victim, Ms. Johnson, today. The issue of the roommate situation has not been resolved privately. She is concerned for her safety. She is fearful of the defendant, and she wants to stay away and no contact from the incident location.
If that's the case, Your Honor, if it is something that's still ongoing, then we would ask for no further violent contact while that gets resolved.
And we're requesting no contact based on the victim's request.
Okay. Let's see. Given that I don't know if it's and is this Mr. Fuller on the line that wants to speak? Are you the father?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, yes, good afternoon. So if you raise your right hand for me, do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I affirm, sir.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
Just a little clarity on the facts that my daughter was the victim the first time she actually called the police. Police took over an hour to get there. Her and a friend went and filed a report. So there is a report showing that the other person started the violence. My daughter has lived there out of fear for her safety, and she's been in contact with the landlord a lot, trying to find a resolution for it. And she's tried to stay out of the way. And she's a very petite young lady. And so in feeling, just to be secure for herself is the only reason why she had the pepper spray, because she felt like she would have no chance to defend herself otherwise. So the whole thing about her being the aggressor is just not true. But she's a excellent student, straight A's at Georgia State University. Progressive goals, so I think she'll do whatever is necessary to avoid any other incidents like this. She's already trying to find actually possibly someone else somewhere to live if this landlord can't work out that arrangement with her current roommates.
Okay.
And Your Honor, we had contact with the victim, and she states that the defendant was the aggressor in this situation, which is why she was arrested, and she was the aggressor in the last situation. So I understand we have two very instances being told, but from my understanding, the father was not there, and our victim is concerned for her overall well-being, and she had to go to the hospital for treatment from this instance.
Well, I don't think it's good for either of them to be around one another at the present time. So I am going to give you a signature bond. $3,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with Ms. Nakia Johnson. You're going to have to find someplace else to reside in the meantime. I'm going to have a stay away from the incident location. You can go back to that location on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that you might have there. If the landlord does or is able to resolve it in a manner to where you all are not around each other, of course, we'll take a look at that if you would like to seek a modification. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Okay. Good luck to you, Ms. Fuller and Mr. Fuller.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Can I get a position number 18 and 19, Your Honor? Mr. Powell.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Powell. You've been charged in case 24 CR 003396B with abandonment of dependent child. and in case 24 CR 003397B with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
18 total. 2022, 2021 AMC charge. 2021 FTA. 2017 battery conviction. 2015 failure to appear. 14 probation. 2013 battery arrest.
Yes, Your Honor. And for the dependent case, there's a purge amount for $665. So we'll just ask that be set as the bond. For the simple battery family violence, law enforcement was dispatched to 168 Scott Street, where they met with the victim, who's a juvenile by the initials of TW. I believe that the juvenile's mother is on the line. They were having a verbal disagreement where the juvenile ran out of the home and the defendant punched the juvenile. The state has had contact with the juvenile's mother. She does want the defendant back in the home. We are asking for a signature bond through pretrial services. No further violent contact with juvenile TW. A one-day anger awareness course. No weapon, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond.
And Ms. Williams, are you here on this case? Would you like to speak in this regard today? It's up to you. If you want to speak, I'll need for you to raise your right hand for me. The other hand, I believe. Okay. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can place your hand down, ma'am. What would you like to tell the court?
I keep coming off this thing. It's just, I think that me and Mr. Powell has been married almost we've been together almost 9 years and married for 5. And my son, TW, has ADHD and he has some impulse issues. So it's not nothing that he's not aware of. It's just, I think when it comes to discipline him, it's like he gets this rage or this anger. And I think it's more so he needs to just figure out how to channel that, because my discipline and his discipline is totally different. So I think he more so be mad at the way that I discipline him, because I don't do the spanking and I don't do all that. I might just talk to him, take something from him, or, keep him in the house, don't let him go outside, stuff like that. But I the one to handle another child with ADHD, and I know how to better handle the situation. So I figured he should have just called me versus, everything just going out of hand before I pulled up. Because when I pulled up, that's when my son was bolting out of the door. So my only thing is, I'm not afraid of him. My son not afraid of him. He loves him. But I think he shouldn't have any more violent contact when it comes to my son. And like I was telling the lady that I talked to, I think he needs anger management classes and he needs some type of parenting classes, because his discipline level is just totally different.
Okay, thank you for...
My son, he doesn't take to the yelling. You know how someone yells at you and tells you to do something? My son, he just doesn't take well to that.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Williams. We appreciate you being here this afternoon.
All right.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor, my client, Mr. Powell, is 35 years old, and apparently they live together, of course, and they have married and legally married, and my client believes that he loves his son, even though he is a stepson. He treats like a real son, and it is part of the discipline, Your Honor. It is still legal here in Georgia to spank the children. So I would like to request for a signature on bond through pretrial and level 1, and have a no further violent contact.
Okay. It'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, 1-day anger awareness, 1 parenting class, no further violent contact with the juvenile, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. For the abandonment, it'll be $665 purge amount. Okay. Good luck to you, Mr. Powell.
Thank you.
Now we can go to the next.
Who do we have next?
Next, we have, what's your name again? Add-on 1, Miss Ebony Felder.
Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Felder. You've been charged in case 24CR003394E with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Fifth arrest, resident of Queens, New York, 2019 suspended license no-low, 2018 DUI conviction, 2016 fugitive from justice, 2016 conspiracy conviction.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 240 Grant Street. This initially was a dual arrest, but Ms. Felter was determined to be the primary aggressor, so we did NOD the victim's case, Ms. Shanice Lively. They are roommates that reside at that location. They were having a verbal disagreement and things turned physical. And the officer did observe visible marks on Ms. Lively. We're asking for a signature bond through pretrial services. No contact with Ms. Shanice Lively and a stay away from the incident location. No weapon, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond.
Yes, sir. We have no objection to the signature bond. We would ask that if there's going to be a stay away order in place, that my client be given a one-time law enforcement escort. She indicated that she may have some belongings at that address. And she will be living with her cousin, which is her primary address, when she hadn't been staying at the location in question. So that was our only request here, Judge.
Okay, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with Ms. Lively. Stay away from the Grant Street address. She can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that she might have there. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
So
Good
is
luck
she
to you,
going? Is she going back to New York?
I understand that she's living here now. Isn't that correct, Mr. Trejo?
That's right, Judge.
She need to update the address because the address says New York on that booking.
Okay, so Mr. Trejo,
help
can
her do
make sure
that.
that we have her proper address.
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. All right, good luck, Ms. Felder.
What was the bond amount?
$2,000 signature bond through pretrial, level 1.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Who's next?
We could do the add-on position number 2, Mr. Church.
And good afternoon, Mr. Shirley. You've been charged in case 24CR003399A with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
No.
Mr. Walker?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 35 Robin Hood. This initially also was another dual arrest, but it was determined that this individual was the primary aggressor. The other party in the matter was or is his father, but he came to his father's home. He confronted him over his cell phone. Things turned physical where his son attacked him. The state is just asking for a signature bond through pretrial services. No further violent contact with his father. His father's name is Ronald Shirley. We are asking for a stay away from that incident location, however. 35 Robin Hood, a one-day anger awareness, no weapon, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond.
See if Mr. Ronald Shirley's on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your
It was a dual
opportunity
arrest,
to do
so.
Oh, okay. Yes, Ms.
I was
Kim.
able to talk to his father. He wants to have contact with his son. I know for the violent contact is consented. We would like to request they do not live together, Your Honor, so it is okay to stay away from that location. We have no objection to signature on bond.
Okay, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, one-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Mr. Shirley, stay away from 35 Robin Hood, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Shirley.
Run the courtroom 2 can finish with their last one. I have some questions to ask ASG, Mr. Walker.
Okay.
All we have is Perkins. We were just waiting for the add-on calendar.
Yeah, I just accused Perkins not too long ago. So it'll have to be an add-on, but I am ready to present the facts.
Okay, we can go to her case then.
Thanks, Ryan. Has Mr. Baker returned from felony court? Will he be available tonight?
He waived his appearance.
He waived?
Yes,
Oh, I hadn't put that in, but okay.
yeah. He's good.
So where are we here?
Miss.
What about
So-
position number 12?
I believe position number 12 is who's in front of the camera right now at ACDC.
Okay.
But she said she wanted to hold off.
Okay, so is the person that we have in courtroom 2 now, is that an add-on that I don't have?
Yes.
I believe so.
Okay, can you give me, so that we can go ahead and proceed, the case number and who the person is?
The individual's name is Bertha Perkins. I'm not sure if there's a CR number yet. Let me check, Your Honor. There's not a CR number currently. So I don't know if you want to wait or proceed with it, but it has been accused.
And has someone spoken with Ms. Perkins?
Yes, I have interviewed her, Your Honor.
Okay, what is she
We're ready to
charged
proceed.
with?
It's one count of simple battery, family violence.
And Mr. Howard, did you have an opportunity to get the history?
Yeah, she was on the fourth. Got 12
Okay.
total. You ready?
Yes.
12 total. Open case out of Mobile. Suspended license, no insurance. 2021 battery dismissed. 2017 suspended license. 2016 FTA.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 3164 Cushman Circle, where they met with the victim, Mr. Darian Robinson. He advised that Ms. Perkins is his girlfriend and that they reside together. They were having a disagreement because the female called his phone and she hit him in the face with an unknown object. The state is asking for a signature bond through pretrial services, a no contact with Mr. Robinson, a stay away from the 3164 Cushman Circle address, a one-day anger awareness course, no weapon, drugs, or alcohol while on bond.
Tell me the name of the alleged victim again.
His name is Darian Robinson.
Robinson's on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Ms. Perkins, hold on a second for me, ma'am. I'll give you the opportunity. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You've been charged. I'll get you the accusation number when I have it, with simple battery, family violence. It's my understanding that you're represented by Ms. Kim.
Yes.
Ms. Kim, Ms. Perkins did have her hand up. So before I move on, I want to make sure that she has a full understanding and that you're ready to speak on her behalf.
Yes, I'm ready to speak on your behalf, Miss Perkins. So please, you have a right to remain silent. I strongly recommend you to stay silent. Your Honor, my client is 40 years old. We have no objection to signature on bond through pretrial. However, we prefer signature on bond through jail. She has 2 children. One of them is 4 and another one is 12 years old. They do not live together, Your Honor. However, 4 years old is their child together. She's the one who's basically taking care of the children full time, and she really want to get out of the jail fast so she doesn't lose her job. Your Honor, we would like to request for signature on bond through jail only because she's the one who was actually victim of long-term physical abuse, and she does not want to have any contact with him, so we have no objection to that either. Thank you.
Okay, so the Cushman Circle address, she's not going to be able to go.
No, she
I'm
doesn't
sorry.
go there.
Did you have something to say, Mr. Walker?
No, I'm sorry, Your Honor. Go ahead.
Okay, I was going to say the Cushman Circle address, she's not going to be able to go back there. Is she going to need a one-time escort?
I do not think so. I don't think that is her place at all.
Okay. I think that I've been told that The case number is 24 CR 003428J for the record. And it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with Mr. Robertson. Stay away from the Cushman Circle address, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Okay, good luck to you, Ms. Perkins.
You said level 2, Your Honor?
Level 1.
Okay.
2,000, it was a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level. Okay?
Yes.
Next, we have position 12, Amaya Dominguez.
Ms. Dominguez is a no pros.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, your case has been dismissed, Mr. Dominguez. Good luck to you, ma'am.
All right. Your Honor, good afternoon,
Yes.
everybody.
Good afternoon, Officer Milton.
Where's Mr. Walker?
He's right there.
here.
I have, first of all, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
I have special instructions to ask you this question from Mr. Michael Jordan.
Okay.
But it's not me, it's Michael Jordan. Ms. Arnold, Shanta Arnold, she was placed on the pool sheet, but she is not on the court calendar. What is the status?
Let me check. I believe that is she on the felony pool sheet as well? That misdemeanor is a part of her felony, I believe.
She went to court on Saturday and she received a no bond.
So if you look at that warrant, it's the same officer, the same place, the same time, the same day as the felony. So that misdemeanor needs to be handled with that felony case because it's part of the same facts.
So she needs to go back, she needs to be put on the poll sheet where the court calendar for tomorrow for
Correct.
felony?
Yeah. It's the same arresting officer, the same date, same time, same address.
Okay, would you let Mr. Michael Jordan that
Yes,
information,
ma'am.
please?
Yes, ma'am, I will.
Thank you. And we are finished at ACDC.
Have a good afternoon.
Good
We
afternoon,
appreciate it.
everybody.
Is Mr.
Okay.
Mario Dawson? Sorry, Your Honor.
No, go ahead.
Is Mr. Mario Dawson in any of the courtrooms? I was told the jail was going to bring him in. They didn't have him on the calendar, though.
Courtroom 2, are you with me?
Yes, I'm here.
Did you hear Ms. McConkey's question?
No. Can you repeat that?
Sure.
Yes, Mr. Mario Dawson, he was not on the calendar. I did file his accusation down this morning, and I was told that the jail was going to bring him to the courtroom.
We was not notified of that. So,
You also have not been able to interview any. Did anyone interview Mr. Dawson?
no, nobody interviewed and nobody recollected that to us.
Yeah, I don't have his history because he wasn't on my pool sheet either.
Okay, so we're gonna have to reset him until tomorrow.
We didn't even do.
Okay? What are we gonna do with position number 1?
He's a waiver, Your Honor.
Excuse me, who is that in position 1?
Baker.
Okay, well, this morning I was not able to interview him. He was in felony court. So I don't know how the message got through that he waived. My problem is I can't represent him today on these misdemeanors because I haven't interviewed him.
Hey, Cook, he was on the phone with you. He was on the phone with you.
He was on the phone with me?
Yes, he was the last person that you spoke to today. He said, Mr. Cook, remember we were trying to call you, we couldn't hear you, or you couldn't hear us?
Okay, well, let me.
Yeah, you spoke to him, he said, Mr. Cook.
Okay, maybe I have it in some other notes.
Yes.
Hang on.
And while you do that, let me address whoever's on iPhone 3 here. Do you have business before the court? I guess not.
No. I do have some notes from him. So I guess we can proceed.
Okay, so Mr. Baker's been charged in case 24 CR 003388F with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
On probation for ag assault. What else? Criminal damage to property, second degree. Ag assault upon public safety officer while engaged in official duty. Theft by receiving. He went to felony for murder, ag assault, gang charges. So he ain't going on.
Okay, Ms. McCockey?
Yes, the defendant is accused of punching the victim, Shaquille Scott, in the face when she refused to allow him inside the residence. The defendant then called his aunt and female, well, the defendant called his aunt and female cousins to help him try to enter the home. And as the victim was attempting to close the door to the residence, as all of those people were trying to enter, that is when the defendant punched her twice in the face. The parties did used to live together. Given the defendant's very violent history, the state is recommending a $3,000 surety bond, no further contact with the victim, Shaquille Scott, stay away from the incident location, which is 1970 Compton Drive, Southeast Atlanta, and an FEIP.
Mr. Cook?
I would ask the court to sound for the victim, Ms. Shaquille Scott, but I do not believe she is here.
Okay, if Ms. Scott is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Doesn't appear so. Mr. Cook?
Your Honor, given everything else he's got in front of him, we would be asking just for signature bond to get this out of the way, and he can deal with his other bonds down the road.
All right, it'll be a $2,000 good bond, no further contact with Ms. Scott, stay away from the Compton Drive address, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Okay, does that complete everyone for this afternoon? Do we have anybody else in the courtroom too?
No, Your Honor, we don't.
All right, very good. Ms. Bridgewater?
Yes, sir. Okay, once again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is going to be June the 18th. Position number 1 is going to the SAP calendar with a $2,000 good bond. 2 is okay. Position number 2 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 3 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $4,000 good bond. 4 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $3,000 good bond. 5 is reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through the jail. 6 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. 7 reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 8 reset further notice with a total $1,500 SOB through the jail. 9 reset further notice with a $1,000 SOB through the jail. 10 reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 11 reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through the jail. 12 is null crossed, and I need that to be sent to me. 13 is reset further notice with a total $2,000 SOB through the jail. 14 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through the jail. 15 is reset to the SAP calendar with a $12,000 good bond, and I'm still waiting on a co-signer. If we know who that co-signer, well, no, disregard that because it's, well, I still guess I need it.
What, number 15?
On number 15?
You don't need a cosign.
Well, they're going to the SAP calendar. Okay, disregard that. It's a $12,000 total good bond. 16 is reset further notice with a total $1,500 SOB through the jail. 17 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. 18 has a $665 purge. 19 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 20 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial with a co-signer, Samuel Jackson. Add-on 1 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. Add-on 2 is reset further notice with a $2,000 $2,000 SOB through pretrial. Add-on 3 is reset further notice with a total $1,000 SOB through the jail. And then that last one, Miss Bertha Perkins, I have reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. And I'm still waiting to get that information.
What's
I
the
have
chart?
the case number. It's a simple battery family violence. And that just came through with the add-on calendar. So that completes everything. Are there any questions, comments, or otherwise?
There are also some other null process. If you want me to sign those, Mr. Walker, you'll need to get those to Ms. Bridgewater, also the ones that weren't on calendar.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, anything else? If not, thank you all. We appreciate it. I will see you all tomorrow.
Okay,
Thank you,
bye-bye.
Judge.
Okay.